Hi everyone, welcome back. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we are going to now move on to the next tool. The last tool certainly we were talking about how to convert our images from raster into vector. Well, we're good with that now. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring open Frank again and left click and drag him onto the artboard. And with him onto the artboard again, we're going to do the same as we've done before. I'm going to go over to the four corners and grab the shift key and drag in to shrink him down. Okay, now again, we've sort of brought him in, we've converted him, and I'm going to change him now into let's going to go ahead and go low fidelity photo, and we'll convert him in. Once we bring him in and change him to a low fidelity photo, you'll see that he's very simplified. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is we're going to make copies of him to go across the artboard like we did last time, where we took one image and turned it into 3, and then from 3 we turned it into 6, and from 6 we turned it into 12. So we're going to do that again on our artboard here. So I've gone ahead, you can see now where we've got the pixel clustering here of the gray tones like we looked at last time. So let me go ahead and hit the expand button, expand that out. I mean, see we've got that there, but I'm going to shrink him down. So I'm going to go ahead and hold the shift key and shrink him down to about the size of a postage stamp there. Looks pretty good. But I'm going to go ahead and now play with that a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and selected him, but I'm going to use the Alt key and left click and drag an image of him and put it right next to him. So there's my next one. Okay. Then I can select that again, hold the Alt key and drag that again. So I've got about 3 of them there. And they're a little small. Maybe I'll make this a little bit larger in a minute here. But there's my third one there. Now I want to make 3 into 6. So there's my 3. And so then I'm going to hold the Alt key and drag down. So it's again, same thing we did last time. Using my line tool there, my center line tool to go ahead and line this up. And I'll go up a little higher up. There we go. And release. That looks good. Now I'm going to turn 6 right here into 12. So again, select them all. Hold the Alt key. Keep the cursor somewhere on one of the images and drag them all down and line them all up right there in the center. There we go. Right about there. Looks good. All right, so now I've got these, but I want to go ahead and make them all a little bit larger so they fit the stage a little better. So I clicked all of them this time. And I'm going to go one of the corners and grab the shift key and drag out a little bit. There we go. Now they fit that artboard better. And I'm going to use the shift and right arrow to adjust them into the center. There we go. So learning how to adjust these things is important. And that looks pretty darn good there. So I'm kind of getting adjusted in there. Click off the side. So I've got all 12 of my Franks all set up, ready to go. So let's do this. So first I'm going to do is I'm going to do a file and save as and call it Frank. We're going to call this Frank Filters because we're going to take a look at some of the different filters that you can use in Adobe Illustrator that are available to you. So I'm going to say Frank Filters. It's got a folder I'm going to save it to. Say save and say OK. All right, now I'm ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and select the first one here, and I'm going to zoom in with a Control or Alt plus. Okay, use my space bar and going up to the one on the upper left-hand side here. So I'm going to select him first. So I'm going to left-click and drag on him. Now I've got him all selected. Now what we're going to do now with these is we're going to progressively go through each of the different images that are here, and we're going to go into and use the filter tools that are available to us. So with your image selected, I'm going to go up to Effect, and then Effect Gallery. Okay, Effect and Effect Gallery. Now, once this opens up here, I have a whole bunch of different effects that we can apply to this. So certainly you've got files here with subfolders. Let me go ahead and shrink this up a little bit here. I think you need to make sure that you can all see this here. I know this file opens up a little bit bigger than your average window. There we are. Now you can see it all. So I've got artistic. So I can close out artistic, brushstroke, distort, sketch, stylized texture. I can go ahead and apply one of the effects that are here, and then I've got these sub-filters or sub-layer sliders that I can apply the intensity or level of which I desire based on that particular one. So if I use charcoal pencil, look what I got. Instantly it changed it. So if I want pencil width, I can go ahead and change that, make it a little bit thicker. Here's my pencil getting thicker. If I want the stroke pressure to be heavier, I want the stroke pressure to be lighter, right? If I want the paper brightness, I want it to be brighter. right? And if I want this pencil width to be thicker again, so you can see I got all these changes. And when I'm done and I find something I like, I think is interesting, well, all you simply have to do is click the OK button. And it will apply that to the image that you have there. One and done. Let's go to the next one. So I'm going to go ahead now and select the next Frank. So I'm going to left click and drag a box just around him. Then I go back to, again, Effect and Effect Gallery. And let's do that again. Now you can swip back and forth. So like say I want cutout method, right? And maybe I want cutout method and I want this to be number of levels to be fewer. See how the cutout level goes way, way down to low, right? We can get that down to this. If I want to do apply edge simplicity, I want to make it right more a simpler edge here. I can pull this up. Let me bring this in so you can see it. I can simple that up and look at how it gets. Look at this. Isn't it interesting? It gets more angular. Even takes it down to a full silhouette. But I can just, with increments there, it's pretty cool how I can take that and simplify, simplify, simplify just to get that. And then again, I can play with the number of levels that are there. I can have more, but then also I can check with the edge simplicity with more or fewer edges. And I can also check with the edge fidelity. So I see there's a lot of different things that I can play with this, which are really fun. And I can change back and forth. I don't have to stay here. I can go over to dry brush and it'll apply it. I can go to film grain and it'll apply it, or fresco, etc. We'll go ahead and keep on cutout here, keep it just the way it is. And again, I'm done. Say okay. Boom. Next one, done. So let's go ahead now. Let's go over to the next one. And I left click and drag. And let's go back over to, again, Effect and Filter. Or excuse me, Effect Gallery. And we'll check on the next one, dry brush. So let's go ahead and do a dry brush. So let's say maybe brush size, make a big dry brush, right? Brush detail, want it super grainy, right? Or you want it super smooth. Look at that, the texture, see how it brings the lines around it? If I want the texture, more texture, I want full texture, maximum texture. And brush detail, let's go and take that all the way up and crank that baby up. Look at all the interesting textures you get there versus taking it down. Look at that. Really, really interesting and very cool. So I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah, I like this. Say OK. Click off the side. Done. It applies it right to it. So let's go to the next one down here. And you see I'm left click and drag. And again, we go to Effect and Effect Gallery. Now, there's a lot of things inside there. We're going to go into talking about some of the different things that are available in here. But let's see if we used to go to film grain, right? And I want this grainier. And I want highlight area more so selected, and I want intensity, I want it less, or I want it all the way. See how it really is, you can play with a lot of this different stuff. I can play with that. The grain, I can simplify that grain or make it even more grainy. Right? I get a lot of different effects from this. Now let's say we get done with this one and we like it where it is, and we say, oh, okay, well, we'll say, okay, we like that one. But we say, all right, we published it, but you know what? Let's try something new to it. I've published it here, but maybe let's apply a second texture to it. Let me repeat that. Let's apply a second texture to it. Now your brain is saying, what? Can we do this, Mr. King? Yes, you can. What happens is after you have exported it and it's back on the artboard, you can then go back in and reselect it because that new texture has been applied. We can go back to Effect and Effect Gallery. And when it opens up here, we can say, oh, well, let's go ahead and add paint daubs to it. So now we can have, or neon glow. So now we can have neon glow, and so we can change the amount of the glow, right? We can have a glow here. We can take glow brightness, take it down low, too low actually. And right there's pretty interesting. And then we can change the glow color. Right, changes that color up. So you could change the color, you could change this. You know, it's interesting what you can do with it, right? There's a lot you can do. So you can change that glow, take it down, take it this way. That's a nice, creepy one there. Look at that, glow brightness. Take that all the way out and leave it almost like a negative photo. I kind of like that, but that's what you get from the glow. So we say, okay, and then it applies it, and you've got a 2-for-1 now. Yeah, so you can continue applying textures to these. So let's go on to the next one here. And we'll go to the next one, select it. And again, we go to Effect and Effect Gallery. And with this one, now I'm just going to go, like say, oh, let's apply plastic wrap. Look at that, he's been plasticized. Let's go into pastels, right? How about watercolor? Yeah, we can put a watercolor on him. Shadow intensity, less intensity, brush detail, more detail, less detail. Let's do more detail, right? Texture. He almost gets lost in there, doesn't he? Yeah. Say okay. We're good. We like it. It's something different. Now let's go ahead and move on to the next one here. Click and drag. Now I'm going to go ahead and go back to Effect and Effect Gallery. And let's go ahead and go Smudge Stick. Or no, let's go Rough Pastels. Let's go Rough Pastels. Let's go Scaling. Let's go ahead and scale them up here. And let's go Relief. Let's go ahead and bring it really high versus really low. Yeah, let's bring it nice and high. And let's go take that stroke length, make it really long and blur them. And let's change the light source, the light. Let's say it's coming from the right. Let's say it's coming from the bottom left. Let's say that it's coming from the top. You see how it changes the way the pastel strokes are on the character. Let's invert them. See, one way and the other way. One way and the other way. Very interesting, huh? So there's a lot of different ways you can do that. So let's go ahead and kick it out. Boom. Done. Another way to do that. All right, so let's go ahead and go down to our next row here. And again, I select it, I click and drag, and Effect Gallery. And we'll do one more here with you here. And let's say Sponge. I'm going to do a sponge painting. And let's go sponge size, nice and large, definition. Let's add more to it. And softness. We can soften it up like that. Look at that. Now let's go ahead and say OK. And it applies that to it. Now if we take that and leave it as it is, we select it again, and we say, all right, well, let's try this. Let's go ahead and go back to Effect and Effect Gallery. And now let's take the next one, let's put watercolor on top of that. And let's try brush detail. Simplify that. That's the shadow intensity. That's your texture. All right, give it a little bit less, a little more or less. Kind of plays with that a little bit. Almost looks the same, doesn't it? It doesn't quite do as much. That's rather interesting. Let's go ahead and take, let's go down to before. Let's go down to some of the other panels. We've only been experimenting in this one panel. Let's go down to Distort, right? Let's make it like glass. Ooh, he's standing behind glass. How about Ocean Ripple? Look at that one. Ripple size. Even more so. So just say, if you like it, say okay. And look at that. Really interesting effect. A lot of different things you can get from this. So we're going to do one more here, and then I'm going to let you go ahead and finish experimenting with the rest of them. So do one more here. So I'm going to go Effect and Effect Gallery. And this time go ahead and pick, let's stylize. How about Neon Glow? Right? And let's go ahead and let's apply that brightness to it. Edge brightness here. But of course, there isn't much color to choose from, so it's very light and pale. But we can turn that into a line drawing. Look at that. We can smooth that out. We can go heavier. Right? All of the things that we can do. Let's go back to let's do it into a sketch. Charcoal, paper, stamp, reduction, plaster. Look at that. How different. How about a stamp? Looks pretty cool as a stamp, doesn't he? Smooth it out. That's pretty cool right there. Look at that. Nice. Love that texture on him. And light dark balance. Oh, now he's looking. Oh, that looks good right there. Oh, I like that. Real creepy. Maybe go just a little bit more. How about there? There we go. Has a nice worn look to it. So we can say that and say, well, again, if I want to apply that, I say, okay. All right, so here we have at the very end here. Go ahead and you're going to finish doing the rest of the faces. You can see I've got a lot of variation here. Go ahead and publish this. You're going to upload this again to the Frank discussion board. Go ahead and reply to yourself. And again, this is your Frank filters. All right, so have fun with this one and look forward to seeing what you come up with when you do the upload. See you soon.